In at 10, co-op mode. Believe it or not, FNAF was actually going to include a multiplayer mode, or at least in Help Wanted. In the game files, there is a folder called Multiplayer that has several files stored within it. These files are named things like Character Info Table, MP Game Mode, and so on, suggesting that multiplayer mode was actually planned with release, but it's now unclear whether this was entirely scrapped or possibly saved for a future update, or maybe something to build up hype, even though they've seemingly completely abandoned that game now. I don't know, do you have a theory about if multiplayer mode is going to make a comeback, or maybe make an appearance, or if it's going to be in another game? I don't know. Would you play multiplayer mode? Would you like it if it was there? Be sure to let me know. My theory is that multiplayer mode may have just been for the trailer for FNAF VR, since you can see the hands and the head of the person that is playing it, but it could be something more than that, alright? Like, why wouldn't they remove the files from the game, and then like, why would they call it multiplayer if it was only for a trailer, you know? However, if you do want to play multiplayer FNAF, you can do that by using custom VR chat maps. Yeah, I don't know how to work custom VR chat, but I don't know, maybe I could figure it out. Who knows, it would be something interesting. Maybe I could make a map. I don't know, live stream? I doubt it, that sounds complicated. But you also don't need a VR headset for VR chat, so yeah, you can do what you want. It's up to you. I'm rambling. In at 9, the end. The FNAF story we know and love, but also rage at on a daily basis. Oh wait, maybe that's just me and MadPet, or I don't know, sorry to assume, but either way, the complicated story that makes me cry myself to sleep on an actually daily basis could have been a lot simpler, and a lot more to the point. Yeah, 3 games, 1 story. That's right, in case you missed on previous lists, the FNAF story was only meant to be 3 games long, with William dying in FNAF 3's fire. However, the community thought the Springtrap jump scare was so disappointing that Scott corrected it, or I guess overcorrected, with FNAF 4's Nightmares. Yeah, but then after that we got more confused, so we continued. The story could have been 3 games long, okay? Maybe no book, maybe no movie, definitely no Fast Bear Frights. Yeah. How insane would that have been? It's incredibly nuts to think that this 9-10 game long story could have been a third of the length. Damn, that's making me rethink my whole life. Okay, is this really what this channel should be talking about? I could be talking about Skyrim. I love Skyrim. In at 8 in the box. The FNAF 4 box has, like the Bite of 87, been a pain in the ass for all FNAF fans and for those who try to explain things and have been struggling to explain it for a while because of the goddamn box. However, FNAF 6 might have actually given us the answer we were looking for with its final speech. Henry's final speech from the true ending of the game has the layout of the FNAF 6 pizzeria actually slowly appear on screen and then kind of fade. It's a weird thing, but the layout of the FNAF 6 pizzeria is actually oddly similar to the layout of like the box when you're looking at it straight on. And stories from Candy Cadet talking about 5 things becoming 1 thing and then getting put into a box makes even more sense as well. 5 animatronics, however you want to count it, Baby, Scrap Trap, Molten Freddy, the Puppet, and Lefty, or Molten Freddy is most of them. However you want to work it, 5 things are becoming 1 fire in the smoke that is Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. And while William may have escaped, maybe that's what the box is meant to represent. You know, the box being like reality and William being able to escape it. Who knows? Really, okay? I don't. Because he removed the reveal that was supposed to happen, right? I think it was FNAF 6. I think that's when he actually debated opening the box. Or maybe it was like Fury's Rage, something like that. He debated opening the box, but then he didn't, so. And it's 7 lives. I think one thing that would have changed everything is if FNAF had a life system. Like, sure, you can go back and do the night again after you fail night 5 thanks to the continue button, but I think lives would have made the game worse rather than better. Part of the appeal is that you only have 1 shot, 1 chance, 1 opportunity. Knees weak, mom's spaghetti. And while yes, it saves what night you're on, you still need to restart the night when you die, and I think lives would take away from that. Even though it's basically the same thing, unless the lives would let you like continue the night that you were on. Like if you got jump scared at 5 AM, if the lives had it be so that you were still at 5 AM, that would kind of break the game. Especially if you use the glitch where you can like continue the jump scare for a long time while still continuing the night with the system. With the system it has now, lives are kind of redundant, unless it would have been like if you ran out of lives you had to restart from night 1. But we know it was planned thanks to the gameplay that was left on Scott's YouTube channel from the development days of the first FNAF game. And at 6, captured. One comment that's always stuck out to me was about a newspaper clipping from FNAF 1. One that says the killer was actually caught and convicted for the murders of the missing children, which doesn't really make sense, unless Henry was falsely convicted. But then, since they couldn't find the bodies, he got out of prison when Fazbear Frights happened, which would explain why he wasn't involved in the first games, at least to our knowledge. I don't know though, okay? There's been a lot of conflicting information about the missing children's incident, so we can't exactly be sure of what happened, but honestly, Henry being falsely imprisoned would explain a lot. And considering how there were no bodies, there wouldn't really be forensic evidence, so it would be a lot of circumstantial and hearsay, but then again, people also don't want to let a child killer go free, so him being arrested anyway would also make sense. But still, okay, come on, 30 years is a lot of time for new evidence to come to light before Fazbear Fright happened and all that nonsense. It is nonsense at this point, alright? But there's also another explanation for that, alright? It seems like after the series did well, Scott removed that plot point from the series so that Afton could come back in more games. Which could also explain why FNAF 2 is a prequel, because he hadn't decided to remove it at that point. Halfway through into number 5, Norman Bedroom. Within Help Wanted's game files, there is a prop labeled as Norman Bedroom. The prop is an untextured table that goes entirely unused throughout the game, but many people when seeing this file name instantly, without question, believed it to be the name reveal of the bite victim from FNAF 4, Crying Child, which I do understand, given that he's the only character that has a 3D modeled bedroom, despite us also seeing Elizabeth and Michael's bedrooms in FNAF 4's 8-bit minigames, but again, Crying Child is the only character with a 3D bedroom. But, expectedly, it was later found out that this wasn't actually the case, that it wasn't the name reveal, okay? It was a prop model purchased online, and Norman Bedroom was the default name of the file upon purchase. Okay, so anyone telling you in the comments that Crying Child's name is Norman is blatantly incorrect. And there you go, you can use this against them. Models online get purchased all the time, okay? It's a very lucrative business, from what it seems. But the default names are hardly lore solving when it's pointed out as default. Okay, so there you go. More ammo for your online war in the comments. Go for it. Go nuts. Send them to this video, we need the views. And at 4, Bonnet Animation. In Ultimate Custom Night, there are completely leftover frames for the animation of Bonnet, or Bonnet, however you want to say it, covering her nose from Sister Location, alright? It was never necessarily used in-game, however, and this is probably because there was no need for it, since the player is unable to rip ass. But actually, like, imagine if that was a game mechanic, okay? If it was me, it would be enough to clear the animatronics out of the room and I wouldn't have anything to fear, aside from, well, suffocating. But then again, actually no, it is that bad, alright? I have a crippling fear of walking out of the bathroom and then having someone waiting to use it after me. It's horrifying. But also, since that detail's kinda weak, there's a completely unused Custom Night text that also exists in the game. It was supposed to be used for the game's main menu screen, but it was removed in favor of there being space for like offices, power-ups, and challenges. You know, those buttons. Probably because it was kinda pointless, since, you know, the entire game is Custom Night. The ultimate Custom Night, in fact. Funnily enough, one of the screenshots on the game's Steam and Game Jolt pages still has the menu screen including this text for whatever reason. Getting close to the end, at number 3, Kentucky Fried Chica. There are a few unused models in FNAF VR that may have been prizes at some point. One of these is an unused model for a fried chicken box labeled Processed Poultry Proxy. Yeah, the box is a dull red with white decals and text. As well, Chica appears on the sides of the box. And considering the intentional 3 Ps and the red and white color scheme, I'm guessing it's supposed to be a reference to KFC. And I mean, I think we can all understand why Scott would have told Steel Wool to leave this out, okay? I've built a whole reputation about making jokes about Chica. My whole online FNAF presence is as a dude who tries to bang Chica, basically. Okay, so like, what else would I do if this popped up? Yeah, I think we can all understand why it was removed. And you know what? I feel like it was my fault. And I'm proud of that, even though it's definitely not true. But ultimately, in at number 2, Glam Rock Redesign. This is something that I didn't notice until I actually went into the comments of the first Security Breach trailer. In summer of 2020, Funko leaked the design of the action figures for Security Breach, therefore leaking the designs of the animatronics. People were pissed about this, obviously, since Scott had specifically told Funko not to release anything, but at least we figure he would. I don't know if he made a post about it, or something that like said he said not to, but I feel like Scott's a pretty secretive guy. It would make sense if he did, but I don't know. What is it with Funko and leaks? They do that a lot seemingly, but anyway, the designs of the characters from the gameplay trailer are actually different to those of the action figures released. This is most notable on Roxanne's clothes, where Scott moved the black star shapes, and on Monty's guitar, where he removed or made the black stripes smaller. Chica's guitar is also a lighter blue and mostly white, as opposed to the white and darker blue of the original action figure, and the animatronics in the trailer are properly proportioned. I don't know, the Funko action figure heads weird me out. It's fine on like the Funko Pops because that's kind of their design, but like if it's an action figure and the rest is normally proportioned, come on. And finally, in at number 1, leftover glitch trap. Inside the files of FNAF VR, a leftover and untextured model for Springtrap can be found. This model is also labeled as glitch trap. It has no physical differences between it and Springtrap, with the exception of a small stitch-like indent on the upper left-hand side of the torso, but it may be possible that this was supposed to be the original glitch trap, as it is the origin of glitch trap's name, but this is uncertain. We can't really be sure, but it's definitely a little interesting tidbit nonetheless. And also note that this isn't a scrap trap model and instead is Springtrap. This could be explained by just like being a placeholder until they had a glitch trap model, since Springtrap is also in the game, so it would have been easy enough to do that. But it could also be an indicator that the Afton lineage, I guess, goes from Springtrap to glitch trap to burn trap without scrap trap even happening, thus aiding my scrap trap as a game character theory. And sure, you may think that I'm overthinking that, but if I didn't share that to you as like a possibility and merely presented it as if it was already decided, then you would have believed me. Okay, that's why game theory videos are so compelling. MatPat gives you the evidence as it makes sense to his point, but my brain doesn't let me do that for various reasons, so I present multiple avenues. I also had to make sure this number was long enough for this video to hit 10 minutes after editing. In attempt in Mini Arena. A load of these secret animatronics are coming from FNAF VR, okay? And most of them involve just minor appearances and don't have any actual impact on gameplay. But the Mini Arena can sometimes pop up in the Fun with Plush Trap minigame in FNAF VR. I don't actually know if it can pop up with the Fun and Balloon Boy version or even the Blacklight version, but I'm not sure, okay? Just look it up. I know I probably should have looked it up, but I didn't, so do it yourself. However, this Easter egg is rare and hasn't happened to me or anyone that I've seen play this game unless they were intentionally looking for it in like they were in the video that I actually watched to help find things for this list. Like, there aren't any actual animatronics that haven't been revealed, or something like that, okay? If they hadn't been revealed, how would I be able to make this list? However, I think it might have happened to Eddie VR when he was playing through. I think he might have had the Mini Arena pop up, but I can't quite remember. I'm pretty sure he might have experienced this, but I didn't. It did not. Shadow Bonnie. Shadow Bonnie is another character that can be added into the game after Dee Dee starts singing like my Aunt Denise at Thanksgiving after having a little too much cranberry sauce. Our cranberry sauce is special. It's spiked with just a bottle of vodka. Now I don't know why she does it. She just does. Do cranberries? Why am I still talking about cranberries? Damn, I was getting really off track. Okay. Anyway, as I was saying, Shadow Bonnie can just be thrown into the game at literally any time, usually closer to the start of the night, however. When active, Shadow Bonnie will appear in your office on the right hand side and will proceed to flicker the lights and then just cut them off for around 20 to 21 seconds. It's like that SpongeBob episode where like it was the hash singing slasher and then it was just like that one dude was flicking the lights. Yeah, it's like that. During that time where your office is practically pitch black though, you are unable to see if any of the animatronics are actually coming at you unless you use a flashlight, thus you waste more power. It's a pretty strong ability, if I'm being kind of honest, and like if I had the ability to just turn off the lights whenever I wanted without needing a light switch, I'd be having a lot more fun. Just imagine all these lights going off at once, and you going like, oh, what the hell, and I just flick them back on. Oh, messing with Chris would be so easy. And it is Plush Trap. Plush Trap, while not really being secret, will appear in 50-20 mode in Ultimate Custom Night. 50-20 mode being where you set all of the 50 animatronics to level 20 and then you play. Which, if you do, you're an absolute crazy person and you need to be put away. Well, probably not, but like, because like that's the whole point of the game, but like, still, okay? Plush trap will be added in by Dee Dee when she starts singing about how things are unfortunate. Haha, you don't know the half of it. But if you do see Dee Dee add a new challenger, be sure you check Cam 6 right away, because if she does indeed add Plush trap, he will be sitting on a stool in that hallway, and you only have like 6 seconds to actually scare him off, otherwise he'll jump scare you no matter what you do. If you scare him off after those 6 seconds, he's gonna come after you anyway, like a freaking turd, okay? Like, why you gotta be so much of a Is it because like your dad abandoned you saying that he was gonna go get some milk and then actually came back with more kids to kill, or no, he just didn't come back? Sorry Plush trap, but you know what? You deserve it. This might have gone too far. And at 7, Endo. Endo is basically just a naked endoskeleton that totally screws with what the phone guy was saying in FNAF 1 to explain the animatronics attacking you. He said it's because when they look at you, you look like a naked endoskeleton, but then there's ones just standing in your office in FNAF 2 and FNAF VR, and they totally ignore it. This one is similar to the mini arena. You just keep restarting the level and eventually you'll find an endo standing to the right of your desk, okay? This can happen in both blacklight mode and regular mode on any night. And I know that the explanation for why they're attacking you is because you play as Michael and all that jazz, and they don't actually think that you're an endoskeleton, okay? But like, I don't like logical inconsistencies. I've probably made so many countering comments over previous videos that I can't really talk about inconsistencies, but you know what? I don't care. No one's trying to piece together the lore of my life, so that's fine. Inconsistencies in these games though, when I'm literally doing it as a job, that's a problem. Halfway through, nope, not halfway through, and at 6, Nightmare Chica. Nightmare Chica is one of the most terrifying secret animatronics in any of the games. Again, summoned by Dee Dee after she sings her song, Nightmare Chica will appear behind you, and is actually capable of jump scaring you. You'll know if Chica is behind you because all of a sudden, you'll see teeth. Yes, if Nightmare Chica is summoned, you will literally see her start to close her mouth around you. To fight this off, you either need to turn off the air conditioning or the heat in an effort to make her go away, but once you do that, she's done for the night. I don't know if Dee Dee can pop back up again and summon her again, but if she can't, then you won't have to deal with it again. But if Chica closes her mouth around your head, she will jump scare you in the night, and let's be honest, probably claw your face off, then use it as pepperoni. Although, if I'm being totally frank, if she's closed her mouth around my face, aren't I already dead? Halfway through into number 5, Helpy. Oh my god, I hate this little bugger, okay? And not because of like buff Helpy anymore, just because of the damn Helpy horror sections from the Poxy Cove. You know? But just because of the goddamn Helpy horror sections from the Foxy Pirate Ride thing from Curse of Dreadbear, okay? But while Helpy makes a prominent appearance there, you may not have had a chance to see him appear in the main menu screen for this game. Yes, in the main level selection screen, or for the base game, kind of like the main hub area, Helpy can appear holding onto the monitor or hanging off the side like some sort of demonic fireman. And if it wasn't terrifying enough, because let's face it, if you load in expecting to see a normal monitor, then you get a bear right in your face, you'd be concerned too. You can also see Helpy in FNAF 2's office, behind you, as some sort of weird peeping Tom who gets off on you being terrified and then uses it as motivation to work out later. Actually, I feel like that's everyone in the comments section. You all want to see me get terrified every single time I play a game, and it's not fun. Anyways, you can encounter him at the same time as the Endo, which makes it just even worse. Like, did he put Endo there? Did I put Endo there? I don't know. I'm tired. And at 4, Lolbit. Lolbit does actually make an appearance in Ultimate Custom Night. However, it's not in the same vein as the others. While the other animatronics are actually visible, Lolbit's bit is just a load of loud noises and please stand by graphics showing up on the screen, blocking the middle of your vision. The whole point of this character is to cause noise, since there are characters who jump scare you based on sound, as made evident by the noise bar at the bottom left of the screen. This makes a whole lot of noise for a very long time, meaning that the animatronics will know where you are, and Music Man, if he is in the game, will jump scare you basically immediately because Music Man hates noise for some reason. Gotta love that logic. The man's a DJ, but literally any form of noise in FNAF 6, he'll rip your face off. Getting close to the end in number 3, Biddy Bap. Biddy Bap, Biddy Bap. Biddy Bap. The appearance of Biddy Bap is identical to that of the mini arenas in FNAF VR. The Biddy Bat may show up in Circus Baby's darkroom level, where you need to hide in the closet like my sister was. However, this time, you're hiding from Baby as she looks around the room for you until she sees you, runs over to you, and then makes you hold the door closed until she forgets that you're there, then goes away until she sees you again in the closet, and then you have to do the same thing for hours and hours. But by like hours and hours by in-game standards. But by the door, by like the front door to the room, not to the closet, you can actually end up seeing a little Biddy Bap standing there, menacingly. And if you were one of the people who commented on the scariest FNAF animatronics video saying that the Biddy Baps weren't scary, obviously you haven't seen this Easter egg because holy crap, it's terrifying, okay? It's just, it's there, staring, laughing, wanting us to die. Penultimately, in number 2, XOR. Now, I didn't know that Elon Musk's kid was an animatronic, but this animatronic is actually in the same vein as Shadow Bonnie, with a name that still makes more sense than X-Ash Archangel 12. Like, I get that they say that they changed the name or something like that, but okay, still. What's with celebs naming their kids weird? This animatronic though is referred to as Shadow Dee Dee, which acts in a similar way to Dee Dee in this game. However, their color palette is changed to black, white, and red, and the song she sings goes backwards and is lower pitched. However, this is probably the worst thing that you can get in this game because instead of summoning one of the extra animatronics, XOR summons all of them. Every single one. Hell, based on the description of the wiki, it may summon every single animatronic in the game. Yeah, that's terrifying. But there's still one animatronic that was honestly a real surprise and the most interesting one on this list. And finally, in at number 1, Coffee. Now, in FNAF VR, you can see multiple animatronics, most of which were on this list. However, the most interesting one, that is probably the only actual secret animatronic on this list, is Coffee, which isn't even an animatronic from the FNAF series. It's actually from another one of Scott's series, which failed, like every other game before FNAF, a game called Desolate Hope. And Coffee is an autonomous service robot designed to tend to the needs of nearby humans. It's basically a sentient coffee machine that actually makes coffee, unlike the one at Yog Labs. Coffee can be seen in Five Nights 3 if you reload the level enough times, and he'll just be sitting on your desk, unable to be interacted with, and he won't even make you coffee, which is kind of rude. Honestly, maybe he is more like the Yog Labs coffee machine than I thought. Welcome to Yog Labs. Sorry, guys. Minecraft Nightmare got me all back into all the Minecraft things, so I can't help but make references now, and then Yog Labs and Yog's Cast, and yeah. And 10, Mini Arena. A load of these secret animatronics are going to be coming from FNAF VR, and most of them involve just minor appearances and they don't have any effect on actual gameplay. The mini arena can sometimes pop up in the Fun with Plush Trap minigame in FNAF VR. I don't actually know if it can pop up in the Fun with Balloon Boy version or even the Blacklight version, so don't assume if they will or won't, just look it up, which is probably something I should have done for this list. However, this Easter egg is rare and hasn't happened to me or anyone I've seen play it unless they were intentionally looking for it like in the video that I used, because there aren't any actual secret animatronics that haven't been revealed or something like that. It's just secret appearances. We know everything we can about this series at this point, so let's just accept this list for what it is. And 9, Plush Trap. Plush Trap will appear in 50-20 mode in Ultimate Custom Night. 50-20 mode being where you set 50 animatronics to level 20 and then you play. Which if you do, you are an absolute mad lad and you need to be put away. Okay, not actually, because that's the whole point of the game, but still. Plush Trap will be added in by Dee Dee when she starts singing about how things are unfortunate. Oh sis, you don't even know the half of it. However, if you do see Dee Dee add a new challenger, be sure you check Cam 6 right away. Because if she does indeed add Plush Trap, he will be sitting on a stool in the hallway and you only have 6 seconds to scare him off, otherwise he will jump scare you, no matter what you do. If you scare him off after those 6 seconds, he's going to come back anyway, you little frickin' turd. Why you gotta be so rude? Is it because your dad abandoned you saying he's gonna go kill more kids but he never came back with any of them for you to kill? In this case, I'm also assuming that Springtrap is your dad because you look like him the most. And it ate Endo. Endo is basically just a naked endoskeleton that totally screws with what the phone guy says in FNAF 1 to explain why the animatronics are attacking you. He said it's because you look like a naked endoskeleton, but then there is one standing right there in your office in FNAF 2 and FNAF VR. They totally ignore it. This one is similar to the mini arena. Just keep restarting the level and eventually you will find Endo standing at the right of your desk. This can happen in both blacklight mode and regular mode on any night. And I know that now the explanation for why they're attacking you is because you play as Michael Afton, who looks like his father, who's the one that killed all the kids in the first place, but come on. I really don't like logical inconsistencies. I've probably made so many countering comments over previous videos. I probably can't say anything about logical inconsistencies at this point. And at 7, Shadow Bonnie. Shadow Bonnie is another challenger that can be added into the game after Dee Dee starts singing like my Aunt Denise at Thanksgiving after having a little too much cranberry sauce. I don't know why she does it, she just does. Do cranberries have any hallucinogenic properties to them, like nutmeg in high doses? Or would berries in Pokemon potentially be hallucinogenic? Hence why the Pokemon think that their HP just got increased by 10. As I was saying, Shadow Bonnie can just be thrown into the game at any time, usually closer to the start of the night. However, when active, Shadow Bonnie will appear in your office on the right hand side, and then will just proceed to flicker the lights and then just cut them off completely for around 20 to 21 seconds. During that time, the office is practically pitch black, and you are unable to see if there are any other animatronics with you unless you use a flashlight, thus wasting even more power. It's a pretty strong ability if I'm being totally honest. If I had the ability to just turn off lights whenever I wanted without needing a light switch, I would be having so much fun. Who the hell? And at 6, Helpy. Oh my god, I hate this little bugger. And not just because of Buff Helpy anymore, just because of the damn Helpy horror sections from the Foxy Cove Pirate Ride and the Curse of Dreadbear DLC. But while Helpy makes a prominent appearance there, you may not have had a chance to see him appear in the main menu screen for the game. In the main level selection screen for the base game, Helpy can appear holding onto the monitor and hanging off the side like some sort of demonic fireman. And if that wasn't terrifying enough, because let's face it, if you load in expecting to see a normal menu screen and then you see a giant bear right in front of your face, you'd be pretty concerned too. You can also see Helpy in FNAF 2's office, behind you, like some sort of weird peeping Tom that gets off on you being terrified and uses it as motivation to work out later. Yeah, you can also encounter him at the same time as Endo, making this all the more terrifying. Like, did he put Endo in your office? Why would he do that? How is Helpy even at the FNAF 2 location? Who knows anymore? I sure as hell don't. Halfway through at number 5, Nightmare Chica. Nightmare Chica is one of the most terrifying secret animatronics in the whole game of Ultimate Custom Night. Again, summoned after Dee Dee sings her song, Nightmare Chica will appear right behind you, and is actually capable of jump scaring the player. You'll know if Chica is behind you because you will all of a sudden see the teeth. Yes, if Nightmare Chica is summoned, you will literally see her start to close her mouth around you, and to fight this off, you either need to turn on the air conditioning or the heat in an effort to make her go away. But once you do that, she's done for the night. I don't know if Dee Dee can pop back up and summon her again, but if she can't, then you won't have to deal with her again. If Chica closes her mouth around your head, she will jump scare you, end the night, and let's be honest, probably claw your face off and use it as pepperoni. You also have to turn the AC on, which is weird because I had to turn my AC off, and it's been off for like 10 minutes, and it's already up to 30 degrees in my apartment, so yay. And at 4, Biddy Bap. The appearance of Biddy Bap is identical to that of the Mini Rena in FNAF VR. The Biddy Bap may show up in Circus Baby's dark room level, where you need to hide in the closet like my roommate did for countless years. However, this time you're hiding from Baby as she looks around the room for you until she sees you, runs over, then makes you close the door and hold it shut until she forgets you're there and then goes away. Until she sees you again, then you have to close the door and then do the same thing for hours and hours. But by the door, you can end up seeing a little Biddy Bap just standing there, menacingly. And if you are one of the people who commented on the first scariest FNAF animatronics video saying that the Biddy Baps weren't scary, obviously you haven't seen this Easter egg, because holy crap, it's terrifying just to see it there, staring, laughing, wanting us to die and suffer. It's like any normal baby. Just kidding, Landon, don't fire me. And at 3, Lolbit. Lolbit actually does make an appearance in Ultimate Custom Night, however, it's not in the same vein as the others. While the other animatronics are actually visible, Lolbit's bit is just a load of loud noises as the Please Stand By graphic shows up on the screen, blocking the middle of your vision. The whole point of this character is to cause noise, since there are characters who jump scare you based on sound, as made evident by the noise bar in the bottom left of the screen. This makes a whole lot of noise for a long time, meaning that all the animatronics will know you're there, and the Music Man, if he is in the game, will jump scare you basically immediately, because Music Man hates noise for some reason. Gotta love that logic. And a 2, XOR. I didn't know that Elon Musk's kid was an animatronic. This animatronic is actually in the same vein as Shadow Bonnie, with a name that still makes more sense than X-Ash Archangel 12 in Roman numerals. This animatronic is referred to as Shadow Dee Dee, which acts in a similar way to Dee Dee in this game. However, the color palette changes to black, white, and red, and the song she sings goes backwards and is lower pitched. However, this is probably the worst thing you can get in this game, because instead of summoning one extra animatronic, it summons all of them. Every single one. Hell,
Based on the description on the wiki, it may summon every single animatronic in the game. Yeah, it's terrifying. But there is one animatronic that is honestly a real surprise and is probably the most interesting one on this list. So, coming in at number 1, Coffee. Now, in FNAF VR you can see multiple animatronics, all of which were on this list. However, the most interesting one is probably the only actual secret animatronic on this list, and it's Coffee, which isn't even an animatronic from the FNAF series. It's actually from another one of Scott's games which failed, like every other game before FNAF. Coffee is from the game called Desolate Hope, and it's an autonomous service robot designed to tend to the needs of nearby humans. It's basically a sentient coffee machine that actually makes coffee, unlike the one from Yog Labs. Coffee can be seen in Five Nights 3 if you reload the level enough times in FNAF VR, and he will be sitting on your desk, unable to be interacted with, and he won't even make you coffee. Maybe he is more like the Yog Labs coffee machine than I thought.
And at 10, Immobile Freddy. The original FNAF that Scott had in mind is not at all like the one we know today. Well, it is in the sense of this is what he wanted to make, but so many ideas and mechanics were added and changed that while we know FNAF is a point and click that gets progressively harder, adding more animatronics later on in a playthrough, that wasn't what Scott had planned from the beginning. In a statement on Reddit, Scott revealed that he originally had plans to make Freddy only jump scare you if you run out of power, and that he never wanted him to leave the main stage. Eventually this changed, and we'll probably never really know why. Maybe it was because the game was too easy, or maybe he wanted to see how things would go with 2 animatronics in the same hallway, or perhaps he had Freddy moving around but got jump scared randomly and kept it in, or he just wanted to torture us more like the sadistic fool we all know and love him to be. I don't know, okay? Why did you do this to me, Scott? Why? I'm kidding. Just please notice me. Sky Daddy Scott. I'm bringing it back. Sky Daddy Scott. In at 9, Lives. I think the one thing that would have changed everything is if FNAF had a life system. Sure, you can go back and you can try the night again after you fail night 5 thanks to the continue button, but I think Lives would have made the game much worse rather than better. Part of the appeal of the game is that you have one shot, and while yes it saves what night you're on, you still need to restart everything, and I think Lives would take away from that, even though it's basically the same thing, unless the Lives would get you to continue the night that you were literally currently playing. Like if you got jump scared at 5 AM, you'd still be at 5 AM, which would kind of break the game. Especially if you use the glitch where you can continue a jump scare for a long time while still continuing the night. With the system it has, lives are kind of redundant, but we know that that was planned thanks to gameplay that was left on Scott's YouTube channel from the development days of the first FNAF game. I can't believe this game has gone from a last-ditch attempt to being featured next to God of War and Call of Duty. That's insane. In at 8, Glamrock Wardrobe Swap. This is something that I didn't even notice until I went into the comments of the first Security Breach trailer. Yeah. In summer of 2020, Funko leaked the designs of the action figures for Security Breach, thus leaking the designs of the animatronics. People were pissed about this, obviously, since Scott had specifically told Funko not to release anything, or at least I think we figured as much. Like, I don't know if he made a post about it or something like that, but like, Funko leaks things a lot. Anyway, the designs of the characters from the actual game are different to those that the action figures had. The designs are different, okay? This is most notable on Roxanne's clothing, where Scott moved the black star shapes, and on Monty's guitar, where he removed or moved the black stripes to be smaller or something like that. Chica's guitar is also a lighter blue and mostly white, as opposed to the white and darker blue of the original action figure, and the animatronics in the trailer are properly proportioned. The action figure heads, they just weird me out. Like, the normal pop heads, that's fine, but like, when it's an action figure that's supposed to be properly proportioned, I don't like it. And at 7, Mangle Vent. FNAF VR introduced the vent repair minigames, featuring Mangle and entered in some of the scariest experiences I've been through, okay? I've played through the Mangle Vent repair from that game on this channel, actually, and it was terrifying. Now, despite my idiocy, in that same video, dealing with 3 vents was fairly simple, okay? They open one by one. They open one by one, and then you kind of have to just look down them. However, it was actually planned to have another vent at the top of the elevator. So every time you see that opening and you think that Mangle may pop up there, Mangle was planned to have 4 entry points the whole time, and not one behind you, no, one above you. Can you imagine how rude of an awakening that would have been if nobody had noticed it? And how incredibly terrifying it would have been if it was implemented? It would be over Anakin, Mangle has the high ground, and I am 100% certain that it would have caused a lot more deaths. I know that I would have died if Mangle had come through the top. Imagine. I don't want to deal with that. No, like, they're over top. They have so much more power when they are above you. I don't want to deal with it, no. And at 6, the box. The infamous box that was first released with the ending to FNAF 4, saying some things are best left forgotten for now. But, that for now was kind of like a politician's campaign promise. They never really followed through, because we never really found out what was in the box. However, the community seems to think that the contents of the box have changed. Originally, it was believed to have been dream theory, since Scott originally said the community may not accept what was in the box. However, there are also multiple other theories, like the box contains the body of Crying Child, which we heard from MatPat. It was also rumored to have been revealed in the Security Breach teaser game, like the Fury's Rage, the side-scrolling beat-em-up one. I don't think that was a thing. I can't see that, but like people were claiming that it does. If anyone has links to that, you can send them to me on like Instagram or something. Don't put them in the comments because YouTube might auto-delete links. I don't know. And apparently the box was supposed to be revealed in FNAF World, and they decided not to do it. And the box has changed a lot. Okay, all right. Deal with it. Halfway through into number 5, Blacklight mode. You may not have seen the Blacklight animatronics if you aren't paying attention to the merch, but if you did pay attention to the merch, you would have seen them, okay? They released Blacklight plushies and pop figures a long time ago without any real explanation. Well, as it turns out, these alternate colored animatronics are actually for Help Wanted's Blacklight mode, or hard mode, whatever you want to call it. You don't actually get to see them unless you boundary break, since the animatronics are hidden behind the curtains that don't open in Blacklight mode, but they are still there. They also appear in the parts and service repair games, but since the room's so dark, you can't actually tell that they're blacklight. Although technically, if you think about it, they're kind of scrapped, but they are in the game, even if you can't see them. It depends on how you want to take changed, okay? Because technically they were scrapped, but technically they're also still included, but you can't tell that they were included. I don't know. You know what? It's my list. I can do whatever I want, okay? The Blacklight animatronics were a change. That's it, okay? But you know what I want to change? I want a Glitch and Glitch Trap pop figure, okay? That's what needs to change. That's not a thing. They need to make it a thing. Also make a Vanny pop figure, please. Like a dummy thick one, specifically. Thank you. In at 4, Rogue Mechanics. If you're an avid fan of this channel or of Ultimate Custom Night, you may already know about this detail, but in fact, the mechanics of a few characters have actually changed after just one day. Nightmare Freddy, Phone Guy, and Foxy were all implemented on April 1st of their specific year, with their behaviors based on incorrect theories, basically using that to disprove them in that moment and then torturing us and William with them. Phone Guy couldn't talk while Springtrap was on the move because, you know, he can't be in two places at once because Phone Guy's supposed to be William, yeah. Nightmare Freddy, when jump scaring you, would actually wake you up for a nightmare for a bit and then you'd fall back to sleep and go back into the game to finally show us that dream theory is wrong. And Foxy would come help you out by blocking a doorway because people thought that Foxy was a good guy. Those are neat ways of disproving theories, but like, really, Scott? You had to use the whole Foxy as a good guy theory and not something more impactful? Like, it's kind of a troll if you ask me. The next day, however, the mechanics were switched to what they are now. Getting close to the end, in at number 3, cameras. The beta for FNAF was full of unused or cut features. Some of these were interesting, like the original camera map, while now we see boxes that indicate the rooms where the cameras are located and then lines leading to the other rooms and the hallways and such. Originally, we actually saw the entire layout at once, and we could actually see the directions that the cameras were facing, showing us what we'd really be looking at. I can see how this would be useful, but since the game plays more like a slideshow in a way, instead of the animatronics free roaming, we didn't really need all that information. And the design that we know and love today really kept it simple and accessible, and that's all we really needed. They'll end up in one position on that camera, then they'll be in another, and then like knowing the direction of the camera in this case doesn't really matter. It would have been interesting for sure, and like maybe you could have included that in Security Breach, because that would have been useful. You should have included this in Security Breach. What the hell? I'm mad about this. Like, cause like you just click on the box and then you're like, oh, where's this supposed to be looking? I don't know if it's looking at me or not. Do it! Fix it! Penultimately, in at number 2, co-op mode. Believe it or not, FNAF was actually going to include a multiplayer mode. Well, at least in Help Wanted. In the game files, there is a folder called Multiplayer that has several files stored within it. These files are named Character Info Table, MP Game Mode, and so on, suggesting that multiplayer mode was actually planned with this release, but now it's kind of unclear whether it was intentionally scrapped or maybe saved for a future game or something, maybe to build hype, maybe they were just testing it out. Like, I don't know. Do you have a theory about that? Like, do you know if multiplayer mode is going to return, or no one knows, but like, do you think multiplayer mode is going to return or not, or make an appearance in this game, in Security Breach, or in a future game? What would multiplayer mode look like? Would you play it? Let me know in the comments, okay? My theory is that the multiplayer mode may have been for the trailer, since you can see the hands and the head of the person who's actually playing. But it could be something else. I don't know. Well, I don't know why they wouldn't remove the files from the game, or like why they would call it multiplayer if it was for the trailer and only for the trailer. And finally, in at number 1, the FNAF story we know and love, but also rage at on a daily basis. Just kidding, that's just me. Well, it's a complicated story that makes everyone want to cry, and specifically me cry myself to sleep. It could have been a lot simpler and just straight to the point. 3 games, 1 story. Yes, that's right. In case you missed it in previous videos, the FNAF story was only actually meant to be 3 games long, with William dying in FNAF 3's fire. However, the community thought that the Springtrap jump scare was disappointing, so Scott overcorrected in FNAF 4 with the nightmares. But then we got more confused, so we had to continue. The story could have been 3 games long, okay? Maybe even no book series, no movie, no Fazbear Frights books. Yeah, like how insane is that? That's stupid. This is a 9-game long story that could have been a third of its length. God damn it. This makes me rethink my whole life. Like, is this really what this channel should be covering? Like, I like talking about Skyrim. I love Skyrim. Why can't I talk about Skyrim? Because you don't click on anything that's not FNAF.